Alright, so the Burning Crusade is coming out on the anniversary servers, and even though Blizzard hasn't really confirmed that we're gonna go into Wrath afterwards, people are highly speculating, and for a good reason. So this video right here is possibly the first one that I've seen on the Wrath of the Lich King Classic anniversary, which, I mean, to be fair, it's like, what, 2 years away, so it makes sense that I haven't really seen much about it, but either way, it's a video by Dookie Gaming, why Wrath of the Lich King 2027 makes perfect sense WoW Classic. Let me see what he has to say.
With anniversary servers already deep into their final phase and the Burning Crusade confirmed for early 2026, we're at a point where the future of WoW Classic is starting to look more predictable than ever. And honestly, Wrath of the Lich King in 2027 isn't just possible, it's likely. So let's start with Blizzard's focus on development. With Blizzard recently confirming that the Classic team will be focusing on the Titan Reforge servers for the next year, the chances of seeing Classic Plus immediately after TBC have basically gone out the window, at least for now, and that actually makes sense. The trilogy of Classic WoW, Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, feels like the natural cycle anniversary servers were meant to progress through. It gives Blizzard plenty of time to cook up Classic Plus behind the scenes without rushing it, while still keeping the community active and engaged progressing through the trilogy. Unlike Season of Discovery, Anniversary isn't about reinventing the wheel, it's about reliving.
Before he goes too deep here, is the TLDR that he thinks that we are going to go through Classic WoW, Anniversary, right? The Burning Crusade, and then Wrath, and then get Classic Plus? Because in that case, we're getting Classic Plus in 2029, and that is 3 years away at this point. No, 4 years away even, depending on when in 2029 it will come out. So like, yeah, 4 years away. I honestly don't think that's the case, man. Like, sure, I like shitting on Blizzard when it's warranted. I like talking about things, and I'm just gonna say, no. We are not getting Classic Plus in 2029. It's coming way before that. It's being announced at BlizzCon next year, and we're probably very likely getting it in late 2026 or early 2027.
The original journey from start to finish. So why does Wrath in 2027 make sense?
Yeah.
It remains one of the most beloved expansions in the game's history. It brought massive nostalgia, incredible subscriber growth, and a ton of defining moments for players from Naxxramas to Icecrown Citadel, and it also brought one of the most important changes, a new class, the Death Knight. But more than that, Wrath acts as a perfect bridge for what Classic Plus eventually could be. Many players consider Wrath the last true classic version of World of Warcraft. Right before Blizzard started leaning heavily into modern systems like the automated group finder, revamped town.
Oh yeah, I've said the same thing in many videos as well, by the way. I think that Classic ended with Wrath. Like, especially when it comes to how the game is. Blizzard can obviously keep pumping out expansions and call them the classic version of that expansion, but to me the word classic ended with Wrath. It's the original classic trilogy. Classic WoW, Vanilla WoW. Classic to me is Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath. Anything after that is more modern WoW than anything else. But Cataclysm Classic is, in this case, the classic version of Cataclysm, but it's just like not classic, right? In that sense. But Blizzard will keep calling every expansion they make in the classic scene, they'll call it classic. Because at this point, it's not even like, they're not lying. Number one, they can use the word however they want, but it's also the classic version of that old expansion. But classic WoW, to me, is Vanilla WoW, TBC, and Wrath. Even certain parts of Wrath as well is not really super classic, but Wrath is a good expansion, so it's okay.
Trees and streamlined leveling. So having Wrath released in 2027 would give players that final hit of nostalgia while setting the stage for whatever Classic Plus might evolve into. Now, how could Wrath be streamlined?
Now, my problem with this take is that if Wrath is supposed to come out before Classic Plus, that is once again a 2029 release date for Classic Plus, or late 2028 at the best, which would be 2 years from the next BlizzCon, which I just in no universe see that happening, right? What I think is going to happen, and this will be my take, and when it happens, just go back and say that I was right or something. I'm calling it right now. We are getting TBC Anniversary, we will also get Wrath Anniversary, and Classic Plus will come out in the last dead space of TBC Anniversary. So think about after the last raid of TBC, like 2 or 3 months after the last raid of TBC, and the plan would be for you to play and enjoy Classic Plus for half a year, and then Wrath Anniversary comes out after half a year or something. That would give you the option to play Classic Plus, enjoy Classic Plus for half a year, play Wrath, enjoy Wrath, and then come back to Classic Plus for updates. Because in my head, Classic Plus is not like something you drop once and then you're done. Classic Plus is a evergreen game you keep updating for years. So the first 6 months, we can play in the regular Classic WoW with a couple of new dungeons, some changes here and there, some world-forged object in the world we're looking for. We can have a couple new dungeons, Crescent Grove, Karasan Crypts, maybe a new raid as well at some point. But then we go and play Wrath, and while we play Wrath, Blizzard cooks up the next raid after Karasan, like a Emerald Dream raid, some Furbolg raid. Who knows, like some sort of raid, a Scarlet Enclave raid, but better, a Karasan raid, but better. They could cook up a lot of additional new content to Classic Plus and drop the biggest Classic Plus patch you have seen in some dead space in Wrath, allowing you to juggle Classic Plus and Wrath. Classic Plus, Wrath, back and forth, whenever this update's coming. Just never keeping you bored of the game at all. That is my take.
If Wrath does arrive on Anniversary in 2027, there's a strong chance that Blizzard won't follow the exact same pacing as they did back in 2019. Anniversary servers have already shown that Blizzard wants to keep things moving with shorter phases, faster progression, and a focus on accessibility. So it's very possible that Wrath Anniversary would follow a similar pattern: quicker phase rollouts, condensed raid cycles, and maybe even boosted catch-up mechanics to help new players jump in mid-progress. We already saw Blizzard experiment with this with 2019's classic progression. In Wrath, they increased loot drops from bosses to help players gear up faster and keep raids from feeling stale. They also introduced Titan Ruin dungeons, which offered higher difficulty and better loot as a built-in catch-up system. Those were a huge success for keeping older dungeons relevant and giving latecomers a way to close the gap. If Anniversary Wrath runs at a tighter schedule, Blizzard might double down on both of those ideas, ensuring raids feel rewarding, gearing stays fast-paced, and progression never slows down. Essentially, Anniversary could deliver a streamlined Wrath experience, all the iconic content, but with modern pacing, smarter loot systems, and fewer roadblocks between phases. So what happens to Anniversary after Wrath? That's the big question. Once Wrath runs its course, where does Anniversary go from there? Does Blizzard keep progressing, rolling into Cataclysm and beyond, or do they stop at Wrath and run Anniversary into a permanent classic trilogy cycle? I think Blizzard won't push Anniversary past Wrath. Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria were the start of the modern era of WoW/retail. They don't fit the nostalgic vision Anniversary is built around. So it makes a lot of sense for Anniversary to either reset back to vanilla every few years for fresh starts, or it remains a permanent trilogy server, looping through vanilla, TBC, and Wrath before restarting the cycle. Both of these options keep players engaged, preserve the nostalgia, and let Blizzard focus entirely on developing Classic Plus as its own experience. Now, here is the other question. There's another angle here: China's Titan Reforge servers. These servers are Blizzard's new reimagining of Classic, level 80 scaling, legendary upgrades, and rebalanced gameplay systems. And while it's launching in China first, it's still a massive part of Blizzard's overall Classic roadmap. So the question remains, what happens after Wrath regarding these servers? Could Blizzard evolve Anniversary into a Titan Reforge style version once the trilogy cycle completes? Or do we finally see them pivot completely and release a true Classic Plus one with new zones, added class features, and brand new content built within the Classic world. That's really the fork in the road Blizzard faces next. Does Classic's future lean toward a modernized rework of the old game, like Titan Reforged, or a true continuation of the Classic world to Classic Plus? Either way, once Wrath wraps up, we're entering an entirely new chapter of Classic WoW, one that could define the next decade of the game's legacy. All in all, I personally think if Blizzard plays their cards right, we will see a full-fledged Classic Plus reveal somewhere in 20...
Classic Plus has to be the next step in Classic, because the options are Warlords of Draenor Classic, or replaying Vanilla WoW one more time, or seasonal content. But I feel like Season of Discovery was great, but the ending kinda shows you that seasonal content is not really fit in WoW, which is something a lot of people even learned in Season of Mastery. Seasonal content plus WoW, it's just like, when playing an MMORPG, especially WoW, but any MMORPGs as well, you want to know that your time investment is valued long term. When you call something a season, you know it's ending, and Blizzard is never clear up front about what that ending means. Like, where do you go? What happens? They can't communicate. They don't want to communicate. They don't know how to communicate. They hate communicating. All of those things.
2026 or 2027, with a possible launch in 2028. In the meantime, Anniversary will continue on through its natural progression, and after Wrath of the Lich King, we will most likely see a permanent era realm for Anniversary. It's a timeline that just makes sense, it's a smooth progression for players, and a smart development strategy for Blizzard. Now, during the making of this video, a photo has been circulating online about a possible leak of Classic Plus. Someone did post an apparent timeline of what's to come for Classic WoW regarding Anniversary, and the announcement of Classic Infinite. I felt this is appropriate to talk about since many other content creators are pushing this possible leak, and since we're talking about the progression of Anniversary, I felt this is fitting. Now, this apparent leak states that Anniversary will become a permanent Wrath of the Lich King era realm. I speculate that they will be a trilogy realm where they potentially rotate through Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath, or they take from Titan Reforged. This photo also says that Classic Infinite will be a fully realized Classic Plus with alternate content in the timeline of this server.
You know, this leak is so incredibly fake, and my tinfoil hat theory, which is 99% guaranteed to be the correct theory, and it's what happened, is that some streamer asked someone in his chat to just make a fake leak for him, and they did, sent it to him, he made a video about it, and here we are. Yeah, literally, this leak is so fake. It's crazy.
Is influenced by the Infinite Dragonflight. Apparently, the Blood Elves will become a neutral race for both Horde and Alliance, and a new Spellblade class that can play tank healer or DPS. Most importantly, this photo says that Classic Infinite will be revealed at BlizzCon 2026 and launched in 2027. Now, I will say again, this is all speculation. This photo has been circulating on Reddit and the forums, but this is all just currently speculation. But what do you think? Should Blizzard stop Anniversary at Wrath and reset the cycle, or keep it as a forever Wrath of the Lich King realm? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoy classic discussions like this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, come check out my Kick stream where we talk all things World of Warcraft. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Not a single frost vulnerability. Holy.
There we go, boys. That was a good video on Wrath of the Lich King, which isn't coming out for 2 years. But hey, it's the first video that I've seen on Wrath on Anniversary. Really cool. I'm excited for both Wrath and TBC. I will say I'm probably the one guy who will be honest here and say that I'm more excited about Wrath than TBC, but I do like them both. But if I had to choose one, I would choose Wrath any day of the week. Which is not what you want to say right now, because all the content creators just want to push that they are super hyped about TBC, which I am as well. But I'm saying it here, I'm more excited about Wrath. Like, Wrath to me is one of, if not the best WoW expansion. It is definitely one of, at least. It's such a good expansion, bro. It really is.